there. So as you just saw, it works. I'm so excited. I've been working on this for about the last 6-7 months. It's been a very, very long project of mine. I completely rebuilt this from scratch. I rebuilt the motor, rebuilt the hydraulics system, hydraulic pumps, had to redo all the hoses, every single thing you could think of I pretty much had to redo. This machine was previously in a fire, and the guy that I bought it from, he had a motor that he was going to put in. That motor had issues, so I had to get the re-sleeved. I had to get it re-sleeved, had to fix the injection pump, basically a complete diesel overhaul rebuild. And the hydraulic pump, there was some water in it, and that caused corrosion, so I had to completely take it apart, clean it up. I just used hydrochloric acid to clean the corrosion because it wasn't too bad. It was just on the surface layer. Luckily, it didn't get too deep in there. And then I use phosphoric acid to prevent any further corrosion, and so I could reassemble it. And once it gets the hydraulic oil in there, then it'll be fine. So very happy, very excited. Finally have myself a skid steer. First huge lesson that I learned is not to do this again. It's much better just to save up a little money and buy a used working machine, instead of rebuilding something completely from scratch. I put way too much money into this. Obviously, I lost a lot of time, time that I could have made money in. So huge learning lesson on that part. Next time, I'm just gonna look for spend a little more and get something that already works. And another thing I want to mention is that I paid around, I think, $2,300 for a skid steer, and I probably spent way over $5,000, maybe even close to $8,000 on parts, and it adds up very, very quick. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Just the engine, the overhaul kit for the engine, I think that was like $2,000, plus I had to take it to a mechanic to get the re-sleeving done. That was almost another. I got really lucky with him, and that was only $800. But still, it quickly adds up. Quickly, increases in costs, and so that's why I mentioned in that video too. Better to buy something that already is used and working, than buying a salvage equipment like this that's for parts and trying to rebuild it and having to buy parts from scratch. But I mean, in the meantime, I'm very happy I did this. It was a very great learning lesson, and now I have projects that I can use this for. I want to build a lot of above ground pools for part of my business. I want to do a lot of earthworks for my pigs. I want to build a second workshop. For that, I'm going to need this machine to clear out the land and flatten it out, level it out. I already have the first workshop, but I'm already filling it up with too much stuff. So yeah, stay tuned. Pretty soon there's going to be a lot more videos on this channel. Sorry for the last couple months. It's been on a pause. It's all been because of this thing. I had some things I've been working on side to side. I haven't been working on this full time for 6 months, but I've just been waiting to get this finished, and it's just always been, oh, I'll get this finished soon, I'll get this finished soon, I'll get this finished soon, and little by little, went from a couple weeks to 6 months. So now I finally have it working. All I have left to do on this machine is to get the bucket for the bucket hydraulic cylinder repaired. I already have the seal kit for that. I'm gonna get it changed out on Monday. And yeah, I mean, other than that, it fully works. I already bought a bucket for it that I'm gonna fix up, and some pallet forks, so I can start moving around my property, because it's a mess. I'm going to show you. My property has been a mess, and it's been that is one huge reason why I haven't really been filming. Or if you notice, my camera angles are a little weird. It's because I've just been really embarrassed about how my property looks, and the reason why is because I have a lot of this stuff that I want to neatly organize, materials, stuff, and so on and so forth. But I've just been waiting to finish this thing, because I know with this thing I can easily do it in a couple days. Pretty much I want to dig up the ground, take out all the roots, and pretty much just have sand, and on top I'll put in the carpets as I do with my pools, and that stops weeds and stuff from growing grass, because otherwise if you just put material on the ground and within a couple months, even less than a month or two, grass grows, weeds grow on top of it, vines, stuff, and you don't even know what you have there. And that's the issue I've been having with a lot of my materials is, I have a lot of good stuff, and I don't even know where it is, what's behind there. So that's what this machine's for, and super happy, super excited. I also want to talk about some things I did with this machine. It was very hard finding parts for this. The one part I was unable to get was the flex plate between the drive, the motor, the diesel motor, and the hydraulic pump. And what I did was I simply used my plasma cutter, cut out a piece of sheet metal, and welded a hub. I was able to find a spline hub that matched exactly the hydraulic pump splines, and that's it. It was that simple. There was none in stock on the entire internet. I searched everywhere, and then the couple places that like did used to have it in stock a long time ago, they were charging like $700 for it, just for flex plate piece of. It's ridiculous. So with this machine, that's one thing I really learned was to do a lot of ingenuity and working things on myself. For example, the steering control, I learned very hard on why it's very important to have a steering dampener. I'll show you a video of me running this without the steering dampener, and man, is it scary. Pretty much what happens is if the machine bumps or jumps a little bit, you also jump and move a little bit, and that pretty much is a reverse feedback loop cycle where the more you move around, the more the machine moves around and you move around, and it just goes haywire. And I've almost flipped this a couple times because of how scary it was. So that's why I did the steering dampeners. But the steering dampeners for this one, again, they're really expensive, and I couldn't really find the exact pieces that I needed set up. So I just made my own, and then same thing with the connections that connect the actual arm levers to the pump. I couldn't find the or that I could find, but they're super expensive, and I found that ridiculous. So I just got a piece of rebar, welded a universal joints, swivel joints on the ends, and it works great. So now that this machine is finished, like I said, I can finally start clearing up around my property, start moving things around. And my next project is probably going to be starting work on a proper shredder and animal feed system. So for that, well, technically this next project would be completely finishing up my CNC machine. It's basically finished already, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, I want to be able to pretty much create machinery to churn grass and other sort of stuff into animal feed. And also, I want to be able to shred down plastic to make construction material, so pretty much fiber reinforced plastics. I don't know if you ever seen those lumber decks that are made from plastics that they sell at Lowe's. That's pretty much what I want to make. Super useful, super love them, but obviously it's super expensive. If I can make myself, that'd be amazing. And also I want to do some pyrolysis experiments on making my own diesel fuel, gasoline, etc., oils, and yeah, that's probably gonna be my next project, is building a shredder to be able to do all that stuff. Pretty much I just chuck in trash out, get pellets, stuff, whatever that I can easily feed into an extruder, or put into a chamber system instead of it being huge, large pieces. So yeah, that's gonna be my next project. And like I said at the beginning, now that I actually have this machine fixed, I'm probably gonna go back to my not bi-weekly, but 2 videos a week. I'll try my best, or worst case scenario, I'll just do 1 video a week on my updates and stuff. So if you enjoy this type of stuff, please subscribe. I'm doing my best, and eventually I want to do, as I've mentioned before, my floating island project, among many other things that will require a lot of heavy equipment. I also want to make my own electric excavators and other stuff like this, electric skid steers using what's called redox flow battery technology. That's probably going to take a little while until I get that. I need to finish up the second workshop before I can start with that. But yeah, please let me know what you think, what type of videos you want to see. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching.